Now get ready for the heart. Sports. Put the headphones right in your dome and tune in with the top host. Sam Brill distilling the news from the gym to the ball courts. And all the sports that's in between, you're gonna hear it from the heart. Sports. That's the podcast capturing the Hunter sports scene.
Welcome back to the Hunter Sports Podcast. We've got a special playoff edition for you here today, and I'm joined by junior Luca Warnick of boys varsity lacrosse, senior Emma Seitz of girls varsity lacrosse, and Zach Gong of boys varsity volleyball. So what do you guys think your team is going to do in playoffs? What's the season been like so far?
So for boys varsity lacrosse, we started kind of rough. We have a lot of new faces, a lot of freshmen, a lot of younger guys. So it's really important for the older guys to step up, like our captains, Ethan Schwartz, Jack Eshman, and Thomas Benson. They've been huge in our recent success. We are now 6-2. We have 2 games left in the regular season, so we are definitely going to be looking for a strong playoff push. Right now, the only thing that's up to question is our seeding. We have a huge game against New Dorp, so we'll see how that goes. But really, the leadership of the older guys has taken over this team, and they've been great role models for all of us.
Yeah, so for the girls varsity lacrosse team, we have a really strong group of seniors. There's 7 or 8 of us who have been on the team for 4 years, so we have had a really good season so far. We're undefeated in our league schedule, and we've also played a bunch of challenging games against non-league opponents, including in Long Island, which have been really good for us as a group in terms of like working on our offense and being challenged defensively, which we don't always get in our PSO games. We're very excited for the playoffs. We should be seeded at least in the top 3, if not higher. So it's going to come down to 2 big games for us, and we think we're prepared to hopefully challenge for the city championship.
Yeah, so far boys volleyball's had a great season. We're 11-0 in PSAL, playing Seward Park today for 12-0 in an undefeated record. We've only dropped 1 set the entire year. And we've had a good showing so far in tournaments. It's been a little tougher playing against much higher quality teams, but we've really shown some determination and grit each tournament, and we've gotten better every single time. And we're finally coming together as a team. We're a really young team. We have a lot of new starters, a lot of new faces on the team, and we're all finally coming together as a group at the perfect time coming into playoffs. We're hoping for a top 10 seed, possibly get a couple home playoff games, which would be amazing for us. And I think we can make a really long run in playoffs and do some really great things this year.
So Zach and Emma, you guys both mentioned some higher quality teams out that are going to give you some trouble. What do you have to do to overcome them, and what teams do you expect to be that obstacle?
So we have our classic Staten Island rivals, Tottenville and Curtis, and this year New Dorp is also good. So yeah, definitely those are the teams that we haven't played yet because they're not in our section of the league. So we are gonna see new faces for the first time, but we think that we've prepared as well as we can. So as long as we continue having productive practices for the next 2 weeks, we're ready for those teams. And hopefully we'll have home games, which is helpful because we don't have to go to Staten Island.
Yeah, there's some really good teams out there in the PSAL. MSIT, Fort Hamilton, Stuyvesant this year is really good. And there are some other teams out there that are real powerhouses. But they're all definitely beatable teams for us. The key for us right now is playing with consistency, because we've shown flashes of greatness throughout the year. And we can definitely hang with and we can beat any team. It's just keeping our focus through the entire match and like staying consistent and playing great volleyball the entire time, which we're more than capable of.
And Luca, you mentioned earlier some senior leadership that you've seen on the lacrosse team. When things are going south, who do you look to lift the team back up and get back out there and keep scoring goals?
Right, we looked at that same group of seniors, Ethan, Jack, Thomas, and Nico. They're our consistent driving force. Thomas and Jack are 1 and 2 in the league in PSAL goals right now, goals scored. Ethan Schwartz is arguably, I would say, he's the best defender in the PSAL by a long shot. He ground ball machine. he's the heart and the soul of our defense, and when everyone else is looking to them, they really come through and they really show what they're made of. And coach, they all act as like coaches on the field, so it makes coach's life a little easier, especially given the upgraded and harder division and a lot of the new faces that we have.
And Zach and Emma, who do you guys turn to when things are starting to go south?
Well, like I said before, we have a very good group of seniors who have all, whether they're captains or not, pretty much all been captains in terms of how they talk to the younger girls, teaching, etc. We also recently got a new assistant coach, Jean Kim, who is a Hunter alum and the founder of the lacrosse program here. So having her around has been really incredible for especially the younger girls who it's nice to just see a former Hunter athlete who knows a lot about lacrosse. And obviously Coach Basso does a really good job of keeping the team fun, so we look to the combination of coaches to provide positive reinforcement and also get us through when we're not necessarily clicking on all cylinders.
Yeah, our new coach this year, Coach Bello, has been fantastic. He's been a great leader and role model throughout the year. He really knows volleyball, and he's really helped all these like young new players kind of learn how to play volleyball and get into it. But then within the team, as the only senior and as the only returning starter this year, I try and set a good example for the rest of the team and just kind of keep everyone engaged, keep everyone focused on the game, but also make sure everyone's having fun, everyone's in good spirits, because you can't be in bad spirits and win games.
Who's one under-the-radar player that you think is going to make a lasting impact in the playoffs this year?
For my team, I have to say too, they've been our surprise sophomores. It's Lilian and Andrew Strott, both really consistent guys. They show flashes of greatness, really. They came up in a huge game in Tottenville, and I think they can do so in the playoffs and as we go further along in the season.
For us, I'd have to say our new goalie, Miriam. She's a sophomore. She assumed the goaltending position after our other goalie left the team, so she's just kind of starting to really become comfortable facing hard shots, and also she's been running out of the goal with the ball, which has been really good for our clears. So we're going to look for her to really just keep improving through playoffs and going forward into the next 2 seasons as the starting goalie.
The real key with us is with junior Pedro Nakashima. He's the setter for the team, and the setter is the most important player on the entire volleyball team, so because he makes all the decisions for the attack. So we really need him to step up and become like the great setter he could be to really go deep in playoffs. And he's more than capable. He has all the potential in the world to be one of the best setters in the city. And so if he just puts it all together, we can definitely do something great.
So now the last question, more directed towards Zach and Emma, but also for you, Luca. What do you guys think that you're going to miss most about Hunter Sports now that the end is almost in sight here?
Yeah, I'm very sad to be graduating Hunter Sports. I think just the social aspect for me has been really incredible. I mean, I play ice hockey outside of school, so for me, hockey's always been like very serious. I'm focused, and Hunter Sports allowed me to kind of pay attention more to the other things you can gain from being on a sports team. Like, I've made a lot of friends, especially on the lacrosse team. We're a good group. We do a lot of team bonding. We have fun practices. So that side of it, I'm definitely going to miss. Just being able to like know that I have somewhere to go after school and forget about all the stressful things in my life.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to miss all my teammates for sure, from volleyball and from basketball. I'm just going to miss all the team camaraderie and all the fun we've had together over the years. And then I'm definitely just going to miss kind of like the drive you kind of get when right before you play a game, that kind of like intensity and just kind of like focus you get right before you play a real competitive game that you really can't like replicate anywhere else. I'm really going to miss that kind of like motivation and just energy, I feel.
I think the only thing I can speak to as a junior is really missing those senior guys on our team that I've spent even through middle school with, that we've really formed great friendships. We've been on each team together for, I don't know how many, 4 or 5 years, so it's going to be really tough, but I'm just going to take what they've taught me, what I've learned from them, use them as role models, and try and step in their shoes next year.
Thank you, Luca. Thank you, Zach. And thank you, Emma. Check back in a couple weeks for the results of their playoff matchups as well as the preview for the remaining spring teams. And good luck this year in the playoffs.